I asked you this before we came on, but I think it's important to get it on the air, because this could be an important opportunity for you. How much money would it take for you to leave PFF right now and become the Bengals DC next year?
I think I initially told you $500,000.
Right. But then you went down to $400,000.
I'd go down to $400,000 because I live right down the road.
Right.
I don't have to
move.
So
There's
I'm
no
willing to
relocation
sacrifice
costs.
the $100K. I live about 12 minutes from the stadium. Right. My commute would be the same. PFF and the stadium is pretty much the same.
PFF is, we've got a history of people coming into PFF, working, getting themselves going, and then going back to the NFL. Now, you wouldn't be going back to the NFL, but you'd be stepping in.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Zach Taylor, he's looking for the right guy. That's what he said. It's not.
I'm older than Zach. I mean, I'm like his.
Well, look, that's never been a problem. Wade Phillips is older than.
No, I'm saying
Sean
he should
McVay.
look up to me. He should respect me.
So
Zach must listen to the podcast.
Yeah, right. Zach's listening to the podcast. He's trying to think of who the right guy could be. He's looking at the college ranks. He's thinking outside the box to a degree, right? Think a little bit further. Steve Palazzolo is here, willing to do the job for $400,000. He doesn't need relocation money. He's willing to drive to the stadium more or less every day.
More or less.
Right. And
weekends are tough.
He could be your defensive coordinator.
I'm willing to do it. I could call some plays.
Right. So there we go.
And I would sign Landon Collins, and I would keep him at safety. And what else I would do? I would draft all sorts of coverage linebackers.
Are you going to get draft kind of responsibilities?
Well, yeah. They would need my input.
Okay.
Who's going to run my scheme?
Right.
I'm a big. I'm a 2-4-6 guy.
I was going to say, what is your scheme?
Yeah. So I'm a 2-4-6 guy. We were talking about this on Twitter. We had who jumped in? I don't know, some former NFL DB. I can't remember. We follow each other on Twitter. I just can't remember who it is.
Okay.
I would be a 2-4-6 guy. So cover 2,
right?
Cover 4, cover 6. So you're essentially working out of this 2-high shell, and you can morph between coverage and 2-man.
When you were initially saying that, I was thinking like formation. I was like, you're running a 12-man defense. That's going to be...
No, I'm starting with my coverage shells. I'm not going to go to the...
No, yeah.
Because at my first press conference...
Because 2-4-6 would probably work quite well. It's just that you would be running 12-man on the field every play.
Oh, we should have my first press conference.
Now?
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You got to get the job first.
Well,
you got to pitch.
Sell people on.
No,
I would sell people.
You're selling people now. So 2-4-6, right. Cover 2-4-6. You're the cover 2, the quarters, the cover quarter half.
Quarter half. Exactly. So essentially, you can almost have the same look at all times and then morph in between both.
Viking style, Mike Zimmer kind of defense.
Yeah, exactly how Mike Zimmer runs it. There's a history there in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it difficult for quarterbacks is it just clouds their reads, right? You think you've got this great look against cover 2, but boom, it's quarters.
Yep.
There's a guy there. You think you have quarters and then it's cover 2. There's a big trap defense. The teams used to run this against Jason Witten all the time because he ran 2 routes the whole time, so you could kind of trick them.
Right.
You could trick them into running the out right into a corner. So you run a little trap. It gives you good run fits, but I would also teach my guys play the pass first, run second. We're gonna slow play the run. We're going to take away that middle of the field pass. What do you think of that, Bengals fans? We're going to take away the middle of the field pass that has killed you the last few years.
Are you going to have an aggressive or a passive defense?
So this is where I wanted to have the press conference. We're going to be aggressive. I believe in dictating the action. Okay. We will dictate to the offense. We don't react.
This is great. This is like a full interview.
We dictate.
Who's your leader on the field going to be? Who's your linchpin for this new defense?
William Jackson.
William Jackson? You're going to have a cornerback be your defensive system leader?
Because of his swagger and his ability to shut down one side of the field.
Wow.
Right? Everybody's going to follow him.
But that cornerbacks aren't usually the guys that like get everyone lined up. And who's going to be your green dot?
I think it's going to be Devin White when we draft him 11th overall.
Wow, straight into the action as the defensive green dot guy.
Well, we'll see what he does his combine interview.
There's got to be like a term for that. There's no way they're called the defensive green dot guy.
Green dot guy. Let me check my roster again. I'm going to get the most out of Geno Atkins.
Yeah?
We've got Carl Lawson coming off of injury.
Yeah.
And I think we're just going to let him loose off the edge.
This is good. I'm liking this.
Where's the rest of my roster here?
This is actually perfect because when you go to be the Bengals defensive coordinator, Eric can come into this chair and like full time.
Well, then we're all happy.
Right.
That's
what I'm saying.
You've got your perfect partner.
This is outstanding. This is a good day's work on
Clayton
Monday.
Fejdula might see some more snaps because he was an 88.9 last year on 160. This will be my interview. What would you do with the defense? Well, Clayton Fejdula.
Looking at the PFF grades, I would move this guy to starter.
He had an 88.9 on 167 snaps.
And this guy to the bench.
You got to play him more often.
Yeah.
Ryan Glass, go.
There you go.
See, it's in my head now. I don't know what the right way to do it is because we've been back.
No,
Ryan Glasgow.
You had all the right the right pronunciation there, you probably just shouldn't leave a 5-second pause between the first.
Well, I was thinking, is it
Glasgow
or Glasgow? Then you have Jesse Bates. And when we evaluated Jesse Bates last year, I said, man, this guy, when he plays quarters, makes some of the most spectacular plays you'll see from a safety. Because most safeties, when they're in quarters, sometimes they have to face a slot receiver.
Right.
And they've just got no shot.
See, I think Jesse Bates could be your Harrison Smith.
Bates is a baller. He's my Harrison Smith.
Right, but instead you're giving the green dot to Devin White.
I don't want a safety. I don't want a safety. Here's the thing. I don't want a safety green dot guy, and I need a linebacker. Every mock draft has Devin White going to the Bengals. I'm not going to be making the draft decisions. I'm assuming we're getting Devin White, and he's my linebacker, and he's my speed guy, and he's going to be taking over
in the middle. This is all sorted. I mean, we've mapped out Zach's next couple of months for him.
All right, let's see what else we would do. Andrew Billings, 632 snaps last year. We'll continue to put a little bit more on his plate, try to develop his pass rush moves.
Okay. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's what we're going to try to do. We need a little push.
What are you going to do at your second cornerback position outside of William, who's obviously spectacular?
You can only hide Dre Kirkpatrick for so long.
This is what I'm saying.
We're gonna go heavy in the draft and free agency.
We're look to the market.
I'm going to push our draft people to draft 2 or 3 corners in the middle rounds.
What about diving into free agency at cornerback?
You just pointed to Ronald Darby.
Right.
I would love Ronald Darby for my scheme.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good fit for my scheme.
Okay.
I also want to be able to morph into man when I need to. Cover 1 when I need to. Cover 2 man when I need to.
Well, now you're getting
So we're going to be
ambitious.
We're going to be multiple.
Yeah.
We're going to be multiple
and aggressive.
We're going to be aggressive, multiple. You haven't asked me if we're running a 4-3 or a 3-4 yet.
I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
That's why when I said 2-4-6, you were like, oh, that must be formation. I'm like, no. We're starting with our coverage shell and working our way back.
I'm a little bit disappointed that wasn't your formation because I like the idea of we plan to run a 12-man defense.
So we might run into the 2-4-5 at some point.
Yeah.
With Atkins and Billings as the 2 D tackles,
right.
And then just get those 2 edges with stand-up edge rolls. Maybe we trade up to get Josh Allen. He could be my hybrid linebacker, and you don't know what we're in.
No. We
could be in 2-4-6. It would feel like we're playing with 12 guys.
Right.
That's the type of defense we're going to run. Okay?
Uh-huh.
When we played, so my high school basketball team, we ran this hectic, full-court, man scheme defense that we double, like, all the time. So as soon as the ball's inbound, like, boom, we're doubling. Like, it's just madness. So when teams would practice against us, they would have their JV team, because you practice against your JV team, they'd have them have 8 guys on the court on defense to prepare for the North Reading High School Hornets. That's how they would prepare for us. That's what teams are going to have to do to prepare for my Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Okay.
They're going to throw 12 to 14 guys out on D because it's going to feel like we've got guys all over the place.
So I've never been in an official, NFL coordinator interview when they're hiring these guys. But if I was you going into what will presumably come off the back of this, I'd leave out that story.
You don't think that helps?
I'd cut it. I think it's
the basketball analogy doesn't work.
I don't think it's helping.
Should I stick to baseball analogies only?
I wouldn't necessarily bring in other sports. But if you're
my
going
experience as a former professional player.
Yes, if you're going to,
I can connect with the players.
I would run it by people first before
we'll do a few more mock interviews. Yeah. All right, so that's what I would do with the Cincinnati Bengals. Only $400,000 for my services.
Right,
and also here's the best part: my PFF contract is up.
Right, this is
in about a month.
Neil's been treating it as if this is no big thing.
He thinks he's just gonna.
He thinks there's no other offers on the table.
He doesn't even realize
we're gonna get one here.
I'm going to get a salary bump. He better franchise me. So if Neil wants to protect me, he has a few more weeks to franchise me.
Right.
Lock me in for a year.
1 year guaranteed deal.
For millions.
Guaranteed.
Which is, by the way, one of just the worst deals. So I'm not even going to get into it. The franchise tag, we won't get into the franchise tag thing that you ran into on Twitter.
No, don't.
But anyway, Neil, you have a chance to franchise me.
1 year, guaranteed money.
To keep me away from this Bengals job.
Right.
Because this is my dream job. This is my hometown team.
Down the road.
Right? 12 minutes from my house. 11 if I'm, good traffic day. If I get the minivan really hauling.
The minivan down the interstate.
When the minivan's hauling, 11 minutes to Paul Brown Stadium. Zach Taylor, hit me up. That's good.
Once they see the minivan roll into the stadium parking lot, you're going to have the job right there. I don't think you need I say more? gents. If you put a Bengals like sticker on one of the windows and they just see that roll into the parking lot, you don't even need to do the interview at that point. Job's yours.
I got to say, I don't always love your ideas, but I feel like you're pushing me down the right path here.